Hey guys, and how's it going? Hey, we're going to continue on this Chinese pit bike. I think it's a 110cc Honda clone that has definitely seen better days. On the last video, we kind of went through it, did an assessment, and got it running. Had no carburetor on it, some stuff was in boxes. Went through that, and were able to get it running, and then ran it through the gears. Still needs a bunch of love. The handlebars are bent. There's a bunch of hardware missing. There's no brakes. All the plastics for the seat and the seat itself are trash. There's no muffler on it, and whatever else we find along the way. So we're going to continue on and see if we can get the rest of that stuff fixed and make it a very cheap trail rider for a little money. That would make it cheap, right? When it's done, this is another one that came with it. Should look something like this. This one's in a little bit better shape, but I figured we start with the ratty one first and hopefully not steal any parts off of this one to make that one complete. Without further ado, let's get into it, start turning some wrenches. Well, so we should probably maybe jump on the rear wheel next. Tried putting air in the tire last time, it just pissed right through it. My guess is it probably drove on a flat. So we're gonna have to go take that apart anyway to go see what's going on inside there, and then we need to go see what's going on with the brakes. Let's get it up in the air a little bit more. Maybe we can get this out of the way so the brake pedal can move, and we'll just kind of see if any brakes will come back, possibly with bleeding it. Let's see if we get anything out of it. It looks like there's fluid in it. We'll pop that cap off real quick and see. There's the little reservoir. And I don't know if that's just dirty or if that's filled with fluid. We'll get that top off, hopefully, and we'll try to get some brake fluid in it. What's it got for a bleeder? It does have a bleeder right here. So, Josh will probably see if it's even complete. No, well there you go. See what I'm seeing? Here, I don't think there's any brake pads in there. Yeah, well, that's not gonna do much. Yeah. All right, let's go see if it moves at all. No, I'm not seeing anything happen. All right, let's do some exploring. Might as well go check the front ones, right? See if that's got complete. I think it's got pads in it at least. Wonder if they're the same. I'd rather have rear brakes. Actually, it feels like we have front brakes. Maybe we can steal some stuff. That's to eyeball that. Does that look like that? Maybe. Well, I don't think they stole the brake pads out for the other bike because the other, is that water? I think that was water. That's not a good sign to come out of the line. I don't think they stole the pads out of it for the other bike because the other bike's got drum brakes on the back. Unless this got all kind of crapped out and maybe they took the front, if they matched the front and they put them on the front. Because I could see them being worn, but gone altogether. Let's go see. Yeah, and water's pouring out of it. That does not make a very good hydraulic fluid. Well, it does for a little while. And it freezes up. Let's go eyeball that other front caliper, see if it's the same as that. That would be a no, unless it mounts up to it. Similar. Like these two can be swapped around. I wonder if we could swap the bleeder for that. Hard to say. This only looks like it has one pin that it rides on. It's got to have another one there. Are they same width apart? Nah, I think they're a little different. Looks like they're a little wider. The back one's a little wider. All right. What's that saying? Brakes are for quitters. Let's see if we can get. These are the adjusters that tension the back wheel. See if we can back them off, and we'll get the bolt out of it. I don't know if that is factory. This thing looks like it's not exactly built for a bike. It's like something to bolt your deck together. I said deck. We go spin that off. We'll get this shaft out of there. Get that tire off of there. See what we got for a tube. I guess the missing rear brake kind of explains why all the plastics are busted up and the handlebars are bent. Out of there. See what spacers fall out of where. That side. All kinds of stuff popping out. And when we put those in some kind of row, a bearing fell out of this side, so like that. Go with you came out of there, and that, and we'll grab that bracket, and we'll say, right through there, right? Let's get that wheel out. And we got another spacer in the middle. Remember that was in the middle. I'm gonna call on you later. Get some tire irons on that. It's this little Harbor Freight stand. It's for taking tires off that are tubeless for the most part. But the smaller the tire I found, the harder it is to deal with. I don't think this one's going to be any different. See if we can get out. Do you think the tube's going to be ripped off the valve stem? That's my guess. I don't see a bead lock on it anywhere. Generally a bead lock will be like a stud or a bolt sticking through the rim that clamps down on it. And even if the tire goes low or flat, it stops the tire from turning on the rim. There's not one here. Gotta unbolt the valve stem. Got a nut on it. Out. Yeah. There's your problem. Not fixing that one, I guess. You gotta go find another one. Let's go look in the stash, see what we can find. Need a 2.5 by 10. We're there, close, within 2 inches. And what do we got? That's a 10, isn't it? 4 by 10. Can we squish that down in there? We could try, right? Yeah. If we don't find anything else, we'll go with that one. See something, possibly. I don't know if it's got a tube in it or not. What's that? No tube. Is that a 10-inch tire? Yeah, 350 by 10. 1, 2, 3. I think we might want to pump this one up a little bit and see if she holds air for a minute or two. It's kind of questionable, especially that one right there. She's looking a little scabby. Say better than the other one. It's more like a small car tire. Let's give her a little, see if we can get bubble happening. We'll let that sit and see if it goes down in size. We can get that tire off the rest of that rim, and we'll just make sure there's no protruding hunks of rust or anything like that. Go check out our band. It just protects the spokes from poking through. Stabbing the tube. Just kind of give them a quick squeeze too. See if I see anything that are loose. I'll give them a little suck down. I think we're fine. How's our tube doing? I think that might be okay too. Yeah, they're close in size. Should fit, no problem. Gotta make a slight adjustment because that valve stem and that valve stem are two different thicknesses. That won't go through the hole. Will now. Alright, what's your over under? You think I pinched it? I would definitely tell you putting a small tire on a rim compared to a large one is much more difficult. I'm going to give myself an 80% success rate. Don't hear any hissing. Let's go a little more. You may have gotten it. Well, judging the fact that water came out the other side, I'm not going to give it too much of a success rate. But let's get that master cylinder off of there and see if we can get the cover open. Just see what we got to work with. That'd be a little bit easier to film in the vise. Let's get the line out of the way first. And judging by the fact that water came out, I'm not going to give it much hope. Just never know. Essentially, it should just have a little plunger, like a, I think something that looks like it. It's a dish, a rubber dish. We'll go with that. Use only .4. Don't think water is dart. .4. Yeah. So that's a little diaphragm. I think is supposed to take up the space, the air space. But it is looking like maybe a little bit of that might be brake fluid. So that should be the reservoir, and this part of it is where that is. That plunger should be in here because that's where. Let's go give her a couple of. Let's see what it does. Yeah, it's not even. It's stuck. So there's that little rubber dish, which should be about right here. And there's a spring behind it, and you hit the brakes. You compress that, pushes fluid up through the line. When you let it back down again, there's a little hole from the reservoir back into here. It allows the chamber to fill back up. Well, that's compressed down. It is stuck in place. It's not even returning. So this is already shot. Let's get rid of this. There's probably a C-clip or something. Yeah, it's a little, you can see a little C-clip down in there. Try getting that out of there. That should allow all the assembly to come back out. It might be a little on the tight side. I got my pliers backwards. We need to squeeze together. Some pliers, either you get two different sets or they got two different sets of screws. That allows it to be an innie or an outie. There you go. Clips up. Now we should be able to lift that assembly out of there. And down in that rust pile should be that plunger. And it's not looking very good. We might be able to get it with, maybe we could shoot some compressed air. Or we might even be able to push it with, let me go get like a, actually let's try it with an Allen wrench. Let me back you up. Well, we're gonna have to backtrack through that rust. Let's go give her a little bit of juice. I got a punch that is roughly diameter. Now there'll be a metal cap that supports that rubber disc, so we're kind of going to be tapping against a metal cap. Let's try to do it. We don't, just in case it decides to go. Yeah, this is a little different. Same idea, a little different though. So that's what it's got. There's that little dish I was talking about, but this one's on a post. It has, looks like one on each side. Actually, it makes sense. I was kind of thinking of like a wheel cylinder, because you wouldn't want the fluid to come out where the rod is neither. So I think we can clean this up. The problem is usually, like on a wheel cylinder or a master cylinder, you have a little honing tool that gets down inside there. We're not going to be able to do that because I have nothing that tiny. I mean, we can get like a little bottle brush or something in there, but you definitely want to break up those little ports of rust and give it a shot anyway. I think these are for a shotgun barrel. That might do it. Let's hook that up in a drill and we'll spray some oil on that to get it cleaned up. Brake fluid, actually. Put a finger over the end, try to keep it running out. Probably want to do too much. I think the body of this is aluminum, so it's going to scratch up pretty easy. I flipped it over. That's the reservoir side. I'm going to go clean that up a little bit too while we're here. Just do the same thing. Yeah, put it back there to see what we get. I do see a bunch of chomps out of the rubber on that side, but the outer lip, this is where it's doing all the work right there. I don't see any tears across that. And this one just does the opposite. I took a wire wheel. I took this on a wire wheel. I didn't take them off because I would have damaged them, but I quickly just kind of cleaned up any rust that was on that. So that should be able to feed down inside there. And when it goes in, it should bounce back for us. Hopefully. That's more like it. Some of that. Alright, so I'm going to reassemble those pieces back in there on that rod. I'll probably do the same thing with the wire wheel. I'll clean the crap off of that. The boot's done. It's not going to keep much weather out of it, but we'll work with what we got, right? That's got it. We'll put what's left of the rubber boot back down. Can't hurt, right? And we should get some squishies. Good. Let's go put the reservoir back together. Put some fluid in it, and we can put the line on. I'm gonna blow that out with the air first. We'll put the line on it, and I guess we'll cup our fingers over the other end to see if we get any pressure. Let's see if we get anything. Should see that level drop down. And I'm not. Probably should have blew out that air passage. So there's a little window back there. And I see bubbles going into it. Kind of trying to bleed it by hand. It's dropping down. It's all going somewhere. Because it has to fill up this chamber. And then that chamber squeezes it up into here. To make it the right noises. We've got to fill it back up again though. There we go. Yeah, pressure. Good. Let's rinse that through a little bit. There's where you go wrong, when you suck air. Kind of like on a car too. You don't want to go too low where you suck air back in, because then you have to start all over again. Let's go do that. See? There you go, and I get the air out of it. All right, so I'm going to go put that top piece back on it again. I'll let that be. I'm going to go put this top piece together. Let's go look at the caliper that goes on the wheel. Yeah, so this side, on the other hand, has a little piston or cup, which is that piece that you're seeing right there. And as the fluid enters into this space grows with fluid and it pushes the piston out, and then you can bleed it through there. So I'm willing to bet that's probably pretty stuck. Let's get this, we should be able to get this slide this right off. There we go. I'm going to wash this up a little bit, and we'll take the bleeder. Actually, we'll leave the bleeder in, and possibly we can shoot air inside it, and sometimes you get that go pop the cylinder out too. And that'll have the same thing. There'll probably be a seal on this body right here, around the same idea. And hopefully this cup is not all rusted up, and that will tear that seal up. But we'll find out. Let's get it to pop out with air. I'm going to go put something to try to stop its travel a little bit. See if it'll work. There it goes. It was stuck though. And you can see the crud that's on it. So we can go clean that off. As long as that barrel doesn't look too bad, it should be fairly polished. This side looks pretty good though. Generally the crud will be on the outside of the lip right there, so I may just go work a little bit of that off of there so it doesn't scratch it. But as long as we can get that cleaned up, should be alright. Pretty good. It's got some pitting on it. Right there. But it's not like we're going on the interstate with it. We'll just smack into a tree when the brakes fail. I'm going to throw a little bit of brake fluid in there. I'm going to put my finger over the... There we go. That's mostly for lube. Should just go in by hand. Should. It doesn't want to, we're going to squeeze it in. You gotta watch it, you don't get it racked too. Sometimes you're putting it in, it's going in on an angle. I'm going to go take a little bit more time and clean up that edge right there. I think that's what's holding us up. That should squirt. Should be happy. There we go. Smell like it. And if we hook that line back up and squeeze that should go back together for us. Now we're missing pads. I am hoping that the ones in the front will fit on the rear. If not, oh well. Let's see what we got. Nothing with that socket. That has dual little pistons on it, so they are not going to be the same. So we know all we got to do is order brake pads for the front, for the back rather. Should probably order some for the front too. Look at how far the pistons are out. Kind of giving you a tell how much material's been used up. All right, we tried. So I did a little Google search and just kind of typed in pit bike brake pads, and I think that's kind of what they're supposed to look like. And I was like, hey, what about the front of the other bike? what they have in them. I want to go look. And somebody stole them out of that one too. There's nothing there. Oh well. So I guess we'll be waiting on pads to come for that issue. $6 down the drain. Well, it's not like we don't have any brakes. We might have front brakes. Tire still in there. That's a good sign. I'm gonna go throw all that back together, and when we get pads, it's 2 bolts to pull out and throw the pads in. Not that big of a deal. The problem is just everything just takes forever to get right now. I ordered stuff. It showed up 30 days later when it said it was going to be there in 3, you know, so work with what we got. That noise is it's just rubbing on the plastic tensioner, idler. So I'm just going to go leave this assembly off for now because I'm just going to be tempted to hit the brake pedal that doesn't exist, and then I'll just be squishing it and having fluid go everywhere. So we'll just leave that right off until we get the parts. What do you want to do next? I guess since we're doing wheels, let's go get the front one out of the chalk anyway. We'll see if the front brakes work and at least bleed them and get whatever crappy fluid is out and get some new stuff in there. And if not, we may have to do more of the same as far as freeing stuff up. But let's go find out. I got it tied down differently. See what we got. What is it running into? The lift. It's the front rotor bent. Did I put the front on wrong? I don't think so. It's 2 bolts. Let's go to where it's free and hit the brakes. I'm hitting the brakes. No, wrong lever. Hold on. False alarm. Alright, front brakes work, but it is hitting something. Let's go find out what we're hitting and fix it. So what do you think that is? I know what it is. One bolt had a lock washer on it and one did not. And I bet you they were the other way around. The bolt is in a little further and the bolt is touching on the tooth right there. Let me get them out of there and see if I can and the lower one. I didn't see it fall out. Maybe I did. Maybe I lost one. Alright, when we go get that bolt out of there, put a lock washer on it, that should take care of that. I wonder if they're 2 different lengths. Let's go take one out. So that one's not it. That one's it. So I lost the lock washer for that. Be my guess. I don't seem to remember doing that before. That works. And let's hit the brakes. All right. We got front. It's good enough for now. Let's go see what's in this little master cylinder. It should be like a rubber boot or a seal on top, and hopefully it's nice and clean. We could just run some fluid through it, purge all the crap out of it. That's not a good sign. Let's go get a little chisel or something and give it a little tappy tap. See if that round punch will work for us. Once it catches on the lip. There you go. Not much of anything in it. I'm surprised that it works. but there must be just enough fluid in it. Yeah, that's just bone dry, so there must be just enough fluid in it to work the caliper in the front. Good thing we looked in there, right? And we're gonna go open the bleeder on the bottom and try to make it go pee through. Yeah, hopefully it'll crack loose. Yeah, I guess. All right. Let's go pump up some pressure. See if she'll go. I wouldn't exactly say that was full of. It actually kind of looks like water too, didn't it? Good thing I got the bucket under it. I think that's water. Good thing we're purging that. The other problem too is, this wasn't going back all the way. Yeah. Yeah, that's water. All right, well, I'm gonna keep going till we get some nice fresh. I'm gonna fill it back up again. Nice fresh fluid through there. There we go. At least it's not coming out with like a bunch of crap on it, you know? So I'm gonna go finish bleeding that up a couple more times. I'll purge out that cylinder. I'll fill that up maybe 3 times and I'll run that through. And anything that's in the lines as far as water, hopefully be out. I'm guessing that's water. It just kind of moves around like it, doesn't it? You want to taste it? You first. Yeah. So if you can see it, the handlebar on the left is definitely bent up quite a bit more than on the right. So the little tyke took a slight tumble. And what he did, and it looks like he broke the bottom half of that right out of there, and that's why he went with this to try to hold it together. I would definitely say that was a fairly ingenious of him. But let's try to get something. I don't think I have a mount, but what we could probably do is do like a nut and a bolt, or try to find a bolt that's around that diameter. Usually there are shoulder bolt, like that hole will be larger than the threaded hole. So let's see what we can come up with for that. So I'm thinking shoulder bolt. It's something like that, where it's got the 2 different sizes on it. Maybe we could find something a little shorter. While I'm doing this, in my mind, I picture a set of those brake shoes somewhere in the package. I said, what am I going to go do with these? And I think I stashed them somewhere. That might be more along the lines, huh? Let's go try that. And this is going to be standard thread, not metric, so we're going to have to make it. Actually, there's no knot on the bottom anyway, right? Doesn't matter. Wonder if I'm envisioning these. No, they're not going to work. I don't know. Does it fit in there? Yeah. Barely. It doesn't go all the way through. Is there a bushing in there or something? Maybe it's just beat up on the bottom, right? So let's try to get. Will that work for us? If we do that, how much play is up top? It's got quite a bit. I wouldn't mind if we find something that's snug on there, and then we just drill that out to whatever the other size is. Let me go look a little bit more. So the next one up drops right in, takes care of all that play. I don't have anyone shorter than that. Will that thread go into there? I actually wonder if I could tap. You know what I'll do is I'll thread that into there, and I'll still put a nut on the bottom of it, and we'll make the pivot part, instead of I think that was supposed to be the pivot, we'll make this spin inside there, but we're gonna have to go shim that up to about right there. So I'm gonna try to find some washers or something to take up that gap a little bit. nothing's too good for my builds. We got brass. And then this is a jam nut. So as you go to tighten that up, it's going to lock up on the threads and not want to back off. So let's go throw all that together and see how it works. I think we're going to have enough. Yeah, that protrudes a little bit. And that's going to run up to there. Let's go see how much play it has, because this will be bolted solid to that. Maybe a little bit of play won't hurt. It'll be whatever that is. And on that note, might have to drill it up just to see if we can thread it right in. I wouldn't mind that, you know, we'll give it better. Yeah, I think that worked. We'll still put the nut on the bottom to help support it, but see how much play it is when it bottoms out. We got to go for something a little more. Yeah, maybe one more washer, huh? Maybe I'll try to get like a lock washer, have a little bit of spring to it, and we can adjust the gap. At least now it's threaded. Yeah, maybe a little bit more. Not hokey one bit. Looks like it's got it though. It's pretty stable. So it's threaded into there. There's clearance up there, and then this is like a jam nut against here. So it's a little bit of an adjustment on it. Let's see how that works out for us. And the nut actually kind of rests against where it broke off. So as you pull on it, it's not trying to tweak on the whole thing. It's hitting the body down here. That ain't hackery. I don't know what is. Let's say next we get that handlebar, try to bend back into some kind of something. Let's see if we get the grip off. A lot of times you just shoot air in one side, pop it out the other. Depends. Sometimes the handlebars have holes in them when they run cables down. Let me fall off the bench. There we go. Let me go grab a piece of pipe either to put in or over that. I'll put some straps on it and give her a little tweak. Got a jack handle, see if that'll go over it. That's pretty good. Your job is to tell me when it's straight, all right? Think stop? A little more? Rather undershoot it than overshoot it. How's your eyeballs? Gotta go with the angle of the bike yet too. What do you think? Just a little bit more? Yeah. There. Oh no, overshoot it. Probably should just hop up there and feel how it is. It looks. Again, the bike's leaning on an angle, so I think that can get your back far enough. Does it look like that one has to go like that a little? A little, huh? It's close. I'm gonna sit it on both hands and see how it does. That's also kind of screwing me up, is the fender is all kittywampus in the front, so you can't look down at the front wheel and use that for judgment. Yeah. I think that thing's all goobered up. It's probably, I don't know if that's the way the brake line went, how it's supposed to go. And over time we just kind of pushed on the fender. I'm looking at right there. Why it's like that. It needs a little bit of that over the front wheels. Yeah. It can kind of rotate inside these clamps here and give a little bit of a tweak to how you're looking down the front tire, how it lines up, and see your wreck again. I think we'll leave it like that for now. If I find I want to tweak it a little bit more, we will. I don't want to overshoot it. Yeah, it's not on it very hard, you know? Maybe it's just was the way it was stored. I do see a clip, I don't know if you can see it right down there, where it's supposed to be kind of grabbed by. Let's see if we can go put that back in and at least crunch it down maybe with vice grips if it's got any life left to it. that'll help. Maybe we can steer it, you know. I wonder if it's supposed to be like that because there's space right there. I don't know. Just throw a tie wrap or something on it to hold it out of the way. Maybe we'll put a little bit of heat. Put a little bit of heat on it, see if that'll come out of it. Yeah, let's see if heat is our friend. Let's go give her everything she's got. I think we got a high speed too, don't we? There we go. I think I'm just going to hold that kind of in that position and let it cool off. See how it does? It's almost staying there right now as it is, but I think when it cools off, it's going to want to roll. That looks better. More of a straight line. I think that stuff kind of has a memory too. You heat it up, it wants to go back to however it was injected and molded back into its shape. So what we got left to do? The plastic gas tank, seat, and I guess plastic rear fender. I think that was pretty busted up too, wasn't it? And I'll find a couple of screws if they're not broken off. Yeah, I'll throw a couple screws inside that heat shield. Keep that from wagging its tongue. I think we're getting pretty close, I guess. Oh, we could do something with the muffler too. So that's what we'll do. I'll get those bolts in there. We'll set the seat and the rear plastic on. We'll see that where that lines up, where it's supposed to ride. See if we can find some kind of junk muffler or something that we can weld onto the end of that. Here's that assembly that goes on there. It looks like, actually no, it looks like it just kind of clips over it. It's like we're missing one on the other side altogether. It's not even there, that cover. And the back, that looks like it's missing 2 screws. Missing one here. I'm gonna try to find some, I don't know, maybe like a sheetrock screw or sheet metal screw rather, that'll dig down into side there. Get a couple of them on there just to help support that stuff. I'll lay it on. And the seat. Oh boy. Is that other one the same seat? I know I don't want to steal any parts from it, but what's your thoughts? Does that look like the same diameter, huh? Is that almost the whole, actually the whole thing? You don't wanna? You wanna just take that whole, kind of the same deal, right? Yeah, maybe we'll do that. I won't take the muffler or anything, but we'll take... I didn't really want to rob from that one, I don't know. Duct tape? It's a lot of duct tape. What do you think for screws? I'm thinking like that. I like a little bit longer though, because that's going in a catch by like a thread or two. We had those in a longer... These are all from a yard sale stash, of course. I'll hunt around. Yeah, they're all looking like shorties. Those aren't, that might be too long though. Be stabbing you in the ass when you're trying to ride. I think I might have found a winner, but there's not many of them. Did we only need 3? Hopefully. That's not even the same size. That one's a little shorter. 2.5. I say we go for one of the long ones up here. And we'll go for a short and long in the back. I can put the long one in first to hold it. That's where I'm afraid of it's going to stab me in the ass. That one. Yeah, that's the problem. Too short. Not going to do anything. Go see if... No, they didn't come through. I don't know about Pretty busted up off of there anyway, huh? No. This whole assembly's kind of ratty. Just set that gas tank on there. Let's see what this stuff looks like. Why is that flapping? Did I miss another one? Oh no, that's the one that has the latch. We could probably run a screw through that though. That seems kind of... What holds it in place? The frame? Maybe. Yeah. That kind of sucks though, doesn't it? You see? Yeah. That's kind of crappy. We're going to go throw a screw in there. Let's go hunting for a muffler of some sort. See if I have anything that is round and tubular that'll fit in that space. Looks like it's sitting. Let's go look on the other bike how the muffler goes. Like you would think like that would be more centered here. Can we bend it? Is it just sitting there? Yeah, it's just sitting there. All right, let's go see if we can find some kind of muffler. Let's go see how that one goes in. Is it offset? No, it's right in the middle of it. All right. These are going to be all too big. I need something from like off a moped or something. Want to go with them? Nope. I think those are like Valkyrie or something. I thought I had a couple. There might be upstairs in this stash. I thought I had a couple of little teeny. What's that? Let's get it cause an avalanche. What's that? Wait. Ouch, bit me. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. That. Wait, we got more. There's 100 pounds. Trying to lay on all this. That. I'm going to say no to that one. That might be a tad. 2P shooterish. That's just a tailpipe. Yeah, it's just a tailpipe. And I think this is probably moped. Yeah, it's gonna be too long. We'll grab that. I think that's probably gonna be our best bet. Yeah. Go see if that gets anywhere close to what we need. Yeah, see if you're even in the right window. So we do want to cut that probably right about there. It's gonna be a tad long. What we could probably do, I wonder if we clean that up, if we can kind of slip into that a little bit. Because if you flip it, the very first thing you're gonna hit is the muffler, right? Yeah, let's try that. So we'll cut that off. Actually, we can cut some of the tip off too, right? We'll grind that back. And I'm sure there's gonna be a tad bit of a difference between the two sizes. You can see right through that puppy. What about it's like those Japanese cars. I forget what they call those things. Got the big lips sticking out of the front and the back. They got the exhaust shooting straight up out of the side of the car. Unless we hack. Yeah, it's kind of tiny too though, huh? We'll go with that one. We gotta go check upstairs real quick before we commit to that one. Maybe we could find something that's more in keeping. I think this is all Honda 70 stuff. Yeah, there's no muffler in there. I'll bring it back if I find anything. How about a Beetle tailpipe? I have one of them. I might do it. I don't want to ruin that set for screwing around with that though. Nah, I don't see one. I cut the end off. And there's the old weld left over. Now it's got a lot of play. So I think I'm just gonna go grind that weld enough so where I can get this to slip over a little bit. And we'll use that for our welding point. Let's go set that back on there. And roughly that's gonna be there, huh? Maybe we'll go throw a pipe on that. We'll kind of bend that up. Because that's just going to burn right there, right? Yeah, we'll throw a piece of pipe on there. We'll give her a little bit of a yeef up a little higher. Try to get it to at least be in this pocket somewhere. And then we'll have to make a bracket to support it. Maybe we'll come off of that right there. Okay, see when rips right out of the head and breaks the studs off. That's what I'm afraid of. Good? That do anything? A little bit of heat probably wouldn't hurt, huh? I think it's got to come in. That's better. It's more in the middle of it anyway. Right? What we can do is when we get it welded on, we'll weld the tab on, and we can kind of draw that in just a little bit more because it's going to be against that. Actually, that's not even in its place. I'm going to run a screw in that. I don't like that flopping around like that. I cleaned up the edge on that, ground it down so that we can get a little bit of a snug fit. That should be pretty good. I see right about there. We'll throw a tack on it. And if we need to tweak its position a little, that should be good right there. I'll throw a tack on it. If we need to kind of move it around a little bit, I will when we lay the cover on. Then we'll make a bracket from there to there. Just kind of help to support this whole thing. It's not out there like a diving board. Iron in the hole. Enough to support it. I'm going to wiggle her around a little bit. It's already smoking. Yeah, I see we're going to have to go come right about there is where we need to be. Even in that front, looks like it's going to be right on it. Maybe it's about the best we're going to get, so I think we can weld it up. It's all flexing the pipe, right? Yeah. I'll give it a little tweak in the upward, inward position, put another tack on the other side, and the rest we'll just grab with the bracket. I wonder if that seat can kind of... Looks like it should roll a little bit that way, doesn't it? I think it's just so messed up. Party time. Alright, so I think maybe a fender washer or something. We can go and bolt through here and we'll kind of ground the bottom of the washer off or something along that. I want to get it right about there. Should do us. Yeah, you think if we cut the bottom of that off on an angle, it'll give us about 3/4 of an inch to weld to. As long as this doesn't interfere with anything. Nah, we'll just beat it with a hammer. We'll just knock that edge over. Let's get a bolt in it. Actually, instead of cutting it, why don't we just bend it over? It'll give us more area to weld to. Instead of being a flat surface, you know? We can lay that on the muffler now. Let's get a bolt set up before we do that though. I'd say something like that. Let's try to get it right about there. Get a tack on it anyway. The muff is going to be real thin, so gonna hold. I'm going to buzz that up and take my time because this is super thin right here and crappy and rusty. Oh, blew through. I fill it? I think so. Kind of one of those things, the more you mess with it, sometimes the worse you make it. Let's go beat the top of that with a hammer over a little bit. Something like that. Fixed. You had a horrible view of that, didn't you? Sorry. Just buttoning up all the hardware for the gas tank and the covers and all. There's still 2 screws back here that need to be done. Oh look, it's got no heat shield on this side. I'm just looking what's cooked in there. Hopefully that's not old skin burnt in there. I don't know if I'm going to deal with anything for that for now. I'll wait till I burn myself and then I'll deal with it. All right, what else we got? I got 2 more screws to put in the back of the seat, fuel line, and air cleaner. I was looking at air cleaners. What was in the pile? I thought we were going to be all set. I'm sure when I saw that one. But that one has a tad bit of an issue. That's the one I think that was on there. And that's got a tad bit of an issue. And then there was this one that was sticking in there too. I was like, well, I'll just throw that on there. Because it was in the box and it must go with it, right? But that's about yo much too much. Can we take with the guts of that one? It's still too sloppy. Nice try though. Come up with something. Like I said, I still have those 2 screws to put in there. Kick that over here, but the space seems pretty good all the way around it. It's got at least a 1/2 inch. If it melts, it melts. More stash hunting. I was hoping to find a filter that would fit, but I did not find that. But I did find a box of rubbers. I wonder if we can cut that off, if that's enough to take up the gap between the 2 of them. Yeah, well, here's maybe that too. We'll take that with us. Anything more? Looks like there's a bunch of these. What's that? Nope. Keep all this stuff in your memory for the future. We're working on something else. You say, remember up there? Those would work pretty good. Alright, we'll take that and that, see if we can work with it. I actually cut that first ring. That's had that little thin shoulder on it, and that's the one I was going to use. But after putting it on the carburetor, seems like, because it expands, I think that'll be the one that we go with. We'll find a hose clamp for that. We'll call that a win. But I think we're to the point we just run a little piece of fuel line from that stub where it's missing. Where is it? Somewhere there's a stubby on there. It's got to go out and then down to the carburetor. Fire it up. It's got gas in it. Whether it's on or not. That pet doesn't look like it fits on there very well, does it? Hold on, I'm fighting with my glasses. Like this should be cut away, or I'm gonna tuck it behind it. So right now it's on reserve, right? Yeah. No. So off, run. So that'd be reserve. It only has a little in it. So we should see fuel coming out of there. I don't see any fuel in there, do you? Oh, I gotta make a mess. It's probably clear and it's gonna run all over the place. Yep. What are you doing? Let it run for a second, let it run. Yeah. All right, that's where we got to point upward. I know there's no hose clamps on there. Upward. I think it's filling it up. Looks like there's gas in there to you. I'm gonna go hit that and they're gonna go blow some of that excess off of there. So let's give her a couple kicks, see what she does. I do not know which way choke is. I'm gonna go with that being off. See what it does. Off first. I hear how it sounds too. This kickstart sucks. Catch it. I'm not gonna get there in time. That's just the idle speed. The air fuel mix needs to be adjusted. That's why it's hunting all over. Let it run a minute. I got it overfilled with oil. I don't have that breather hose on it. There's an air fuel mix right there. Choke is on. Now let's see what it does. Whoops. That's about right. Maybe probably goes maybe a little lower. Doesn't sound any quieter. How low we can go. Think the kill switch works? No. Oh yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I got too much oil in it, but again, if you watched the first video, the dipstick was broken off, so we weren't quite sure where it was. I kind of went on favored the fuller than lesser side, and there's supposed to be a breather hose on there, right? There needs a piece of hose added to it that directs it to piss down. Good. What do we need? Helmet? We need duct tape. That's what we need for the seat for now. And what kind of self-respecting shop, all that crap of tape up there, doesn't have any black duct tape? That's sandpaper or non-skid. Yeah, that'd be good for the seat. I got nothing. Before we ride it, I don't know what kind of shape the fork seals are in, judging by the fact that the cap on that one's lifting up. I'd say we just kind of knock off some of that rust, because that's what's going to travel over that, and that, if the seal's not bad, it will be after that. So, make your own jokes. I'm actually going to come back with a wire wheel and kind of knock it down a little bit more. It's looking pretty rough. I don't know how much it travels. I say it probably travels probably only to about right there anyway. So we'll take care of that. Lube, it's your friend. It doesn't void the warranty. Smooth. It's been about an hour, hour and a half too after we heated that fender. Looks like it's holding up pretty good. Not rolling back. If anything, it's a little back the other way. And 5 short days later, we've got brake pads. Whether they fit or not is another add-on. These, oh no. Actually, that would be the longer one, wouldn't it? That would be that one. Would go up there. Yeah, we gotta slide it apart. The little one, the little boat, how did that go? We'll figure it out. I think we got the right deal though. Yeah, we'll get it. Well, it's close to fitting. It gives the general shape. She's a tad fat. We're gonna go hit her on the grinder, see if we can get her knocked down to fit inside there. That's where it's supposed to sit. Nothing's too good for my ride. We go with the fresh duct tape. Perfect. Yeah, upholstery is one of my other specialties. Call me if you need a quote. I am booked up for a while. Perfect. Come on. Even left the badging. out of gas. That's a fun little ride. It actually screws along pretty good. I'm surprised. Handles my weight fairly decent. I thought it was going to be constantly bottoming out, but it screwed along really good. It's almost out of gas. That's why it's starting to cut out. I didn't put much in it, and it's on reserve. And it's pushed out what's ever left of that oil that I overfilled out of the overflow. It'll find its height. It'll find its own level. Alright guys, with that, I think we're in it for $6. We'll call it a win for there. I'll probably chase the seat down. I just wanted to make sure she was good before I did that major investment of $40, you know. I took the hard one first because that's always the way it goes, that if you start with the easy one, you'll never get the harder one to fix done. And that's why I went and I chased this one first. Alright guys, with that, I'm gonna go put some more gas in, go putter around a little bit, have a little bit more fun. But I think we're gonna go call it for the win on this one. Thanks y'all for hanging out with me, having a little bit of wrenching fun, and we'll do it again soon sometime. Till then, later. Either gear. Out of control. Woo. You're next, my little friend. I think you got it off easy.
So before you had choppers, you had bobbers. And before you had bobbers, you had cut downs. And those are custom bikes of the era. So this is a cut down. It's got a lowered frame, similar to that type of bike over there. Makes it real lightweight, low to the ground, nice and nimble. But this bike was built by Len Andres. He was, I don't know if at this point in his life he was, but later in life, he was the Modesto, California Harley-Davidson dealer. And he built this bike for the 1935 Gypsy Tour, which was like a bike rally from back in the day. And so, what he did is he wanted a lightweight little cruiser to run around this thing at, and he didn't want to have a V-twin for whatever reason, so he made himself a 500cc single. One thing they don't tell you about Harleys is they actually make really good single-cylinder motorcycles. Basically, a Harley's just a 2-cylinder radial, so blanking off the back cylinder on these things, not so hard to do. So this was a 2-cam 1924, I think. Sure. Yep. So this was a 2-cam Harley-Davidson 1000cc V-twin that he's blanked off the back cylinder for and made into a single-cylinder 500cc lightweight little cruiser. Let's see if it wants to fire up today. So what I'm going to do to start this thing, choke it, gas is on, I'm going to give it 3 kicks to prime. Now I'm going to take the choke off. We'll do our ignition on, set our timing, and give it a kick. Maybe 2. There we go. So this
Awesome.
was Len Andres' little custom bike cruiser for back in the day. Pretty cool little bike to put together. So a lot of people ask us which year this bike is, and I'd probably ask you which part. Yeah. But he built a heck of a cool custom back in the mid-30s. Yeah, out of all these sort of 20s parts right here. But if y'all have any questions about this bike, any other bike in here, please let us know. Yeah.